Today on Rappler. The Supreme Court blocks current impeachment proceedings against Vice President Sara Duterte. Lawmakers and Sara Duterte's lawyers react to the Supreme Court's decision voiding her impeachment. A group says the zero tariff rate on the US's wheat and soy imports won't hurt local industries. France says it will recognize the Palestinian state at the UN in September. And professional wrestler Hulk Hogan passes away at the age of 71. The Supreme Court bars the ongoing impeachment proceedings against Vice President Sara Duterte, but did not close the possibility of refiling a year later or in February 2026. Supreme Court spokesperson Camille Ting says it was based on due process grounds. Ting says in a briefing, quote, "The SC has ruled that the House impeachment complaint versus VP Sara Duterte is barred by the one-year rule and that due process or fairness applies in all stages of the impeachment process." She adds, quote, "Our fundamental law is clear. The end does not justify the means. There is a right way to do the right things at the right time," quoting the decision, which was unanimous. There were 4 impeachment complaints against Duterte in the House of Representatives. The first 3 did not materialize, and she was impeached on the 4th. In her petition, Duterte argued that the one-year bar rule was violated because House Secretary General Reginald Velasco did not immediately forward the verified complaints to the Speaker as required by House rules. The Supreme Court said the first 3 complaints allegedly triggered the one-year bar rule, so the 4th complaint, which led to her impeachment, was invalid. The High Court declared the articles of impeachment unconstitutional on due process grounds and added that because of that, the Senate cannot acquire jurisdiction of the proceedings. The 1987 Constitution includes a one-year bar rule which says, quote, "Impeachment proceedings cannot be initiated against the same official more than once within a period of 1 year." The House of Representatives reacts to the High Court's decision to void the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte Friday, July 25. In a statement, it says, "To allow judicial interference in the initiation of this process risks undermining the very principle of checks and balances. We respect the Supreme Court, but our constitutional duty to uphold truth does not end here." Akbayan Representative Percy Sendanya did not mince words.
Nireduce ng Supreme Court ang kanyang sarili bilang Supreme Coddler of the Philippines. The dismissal of the impeachment sets a dangerous precedent.
Mamamayang Liberal Representative Laila De Lima says, quote, "I respect the Supreme Court, but in a case of this magnitude, transcendental constitutional importance, we must demand clarity, not shortcuts."
Naniniwala ako na dapat matuloy yung impeachment trial. Yung mandato, tungkulin at kapangyarihan na nakasaad sa saligang batas ay nasa Senado at walang iba.
But the Senate Impeachment Court says it will toe the line. In a statement, it says it is quote-unquote duty-bound to respect the Supreme Court's decision to bar impeachment proceedings against Duterte for 1 year, citing due process. It adds, the SC decision validates the Senate majority's actions about the impeachment trial. Duterte's defense team, meantime, welcomes the decision. The lawyers say Friday, July 25, the decision of the Honorable Court affirms what we had maintained from the outset, that the 4th impeachment complaint is constitutionally infirm. The House did not act on 3 impeachment complaints filed against Duterte in December 2024. The 4th complaint, filed on February 5, led to her impeachment. The Vice President herself raised the issue before the Supreme Court, arguing the House violated the Constitution's one-year bar rule. The Philippine Chamber of Agriculture and Food says the zero tariff rate on the United States' wheat and soy imports will not result in significant damage to local industries as these are not locally produced goods. PCAFI says the deal could even make animal feeds cheaper. But Raul Montemayor of the Federation of Free Farmers warns that local farmers might still be affected since imported soy and wheat could replace local products. Montemayor calls for full transparency on the trade talks, including any other promises the Philippines may have made. Meanwhile, Frederick Go, Special Assistant to the President for Investment and Economic Affairs, said in the July 24 Malacanang briefing that rice, sugar, corn, chicken, and pork were not part of the deal. Despite calling it a positive development, PCAFI says it still hopes US tariffs can be lowered more. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. secured a 19% tariff rate on Philippine exports to the US during his visit to Washington, 1 percentage point lower than the 20% rate set to begin on August 1. However, it's still slightly higher than the 17% rate announced by Trump in April. France's President Emmanuel Macron says the country intends to recognize a Palestinian state at the United Nations General Assembly in September. He hopes it will bring peace to the region but drew an immediate rebuke from Israel. Macron says in a post quote, "The urgent priority today is to end the war in Gaza and to bring relief to the civilian population. Peace is possible." The announcement sparked anger from Israel and is likely to get a tough response from Washington. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemns Macron's decision, saying such a move rewards terror and risks creating another Iranian proxy. United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the country strongly rejects the plan of Macron. Meantime, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney also pressed Israel to seek peace. He also reiterates Canada's support for a two-state solution in the region. Professional wrestler Hulk Hogan passed away at the age of 71. Hogan, the American sports and entertainment star, made professional wrestling a global phenomenon. WWE is saddened to learn WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan has passed away. One of pop culture's most recognizable figures, Hogan helped WWE achieve global recognition in the 1980s. Hogan reportedly died due to cardiac arrest at his residence on Thursday morning. Meantime, American two-time Grammy-winning jazz flugelhorn player Chuck Mangione passed away this week at the age of 84. He is best known for his 1970s crossover hit Feel So Good, which reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was nominated for Record of the Year at the Grammys. Mangione won 2 Grammys out of 14 nominations, the first in 1977 for Best Instrumental Composition for Belavia, and in 1979 he won in the Best Pop Instrumental Performance category for The Children of Sanchez. And that's today's wrap. I'm JC Gotinga. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. Follow us on Rappler's YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok.